This trilogy was supposed to be about letting go of the past. So why did the final film spend 2 hours running back to it? Let's fix it. Welcome to Popcorn Programming, and today we are looking at one of the most disappointing installments in what is one of the biggest franchises ever, Rise of Skywalker. It should have been the huge climax of a franchise that spanned over 40 years, 9 main film installments, several spin-off films, TV shows and other forms of media, and meant so much to so many, but instead what we got was the equivalent of a wet fart. There is so much that could have been, so much hype and excitement still present even with the divisiveness of The Last Jedi. So let's give a quick recap of what happened and what we actually got. Somehow, Palpatine returned. Yep, the galaxy's in chaos because the Emperor is alive and hiding on Exegol with a secret fleet of planet-killing Star Destroyers. Kylo Ren finds him first and Palpatine promises him ultimate power if he kills Rey. Meanwhile, Rey is training as a Jedi under Leia, but she's struggling because she and Kylo are weirdly force connected, like teleporting objects mid-fight connected. The Resistance learns Palpatine's fleet can't leave Exegol without a Sith Wayfinder, so it's off on a galaxy-hopping scavenger hunt. And then the bomb drops. Rey is Palpatine's granddaughter. After an emotional duel on the wreckage of the Death Star, Leia reaches her son through the Force. Kylo turns back into Ben Solo and his redemption arc is activated. The final battle is absolute madness. The Resistance versus a sky full of Darth Destroyers. Palpatine drains Rey and Ben's life force, declares himself all the Sith, but Rey channels every Jedi before her, reflects his lightning back at him, and ends the Sith for good. Ben gives his life to save her, Rey buries the Skywalker sabers on Tatooine, and chooses the name Rey Skywalker. Saga over. There are so many things that could be said about Rise of Skywalker, but that is an entirely different video, not what today's is about. Today's is about me trying to fix Rise of Skywalker so it works. So let's begin, shall we? Pop pop! The core problems that plague the Rise of Skywalker, there are several, but a few of the key ones are that it brings Palpatine back without any real build-up, which in turn ends up undercutting Kylo as the main villain of the trilogy. It makes Rey a Palpatine for shock value, and probably in response to the backlash to Rey's parents being revealed in The Last Jedi as nobodies. It rushes quite a lot of things, pretty much everything if we're honest, and there's no real thematic resolution. So to be able to do a rewrite, we must first answer the question of what is this sequel trilogy actually about and what is it trying to achieve? The answer to that question is that it seems to be about letting go of the past and choosing who you are. So, let's get into the fixed version, shall we? Act 1. The Galaxy Without Hope. We're having no random broadcasts, instead we're going to open with Kylo Ren fully in control of the First Order. He is unstable, he is brutal, and he is obsessed with erasing the past. But he's also haunted, not by Palpatine this time, but by Vader. He wants to finish what Vader started, but he doesn't understand what Vader actually finished. Meanwhile though, Rey is training, but something is wrong. The Force feels unbalanced. Not dark per se, but fractured. Luke's ghost explains that when Snoke died, something ancient stirred. We learn that Snoke wasn't Palpatine. He was a puppet of an older Sith presence tied to Exegol. No random resurrections, no cloning tanks, just an ancient Sith consciousness manipulating events for generations. This brings us on to Act 2, which is Kylo as the true villain. Though Palpatine returned as the final boss, Kylo is the antagonist, and he finds Exegol first. There he learns the truth, which is that the Sith are not a person. They're a legacy of domination, passed down through apprentices. To become the true Dark Lord, Kylo must kill Rey and complete the cycle. Meanwhile, Rey discovers something powerful. She is nobody. She's not a Palpatine. She's not a secret Skywalker. She is royalty. And that's the point. The Force chose her. Her power comes from compassion, not from bloodline. This fixes one of the trilogy's strongest themes from The Last Jedi instead of reversing it. And then that brings us on to Act 3, which is the choice. The final act isn't a scavenger hunt. It's a confrontation of ideology. Kylo wants to destroy the past. Rey, though, would like to learn from it. They duel at Exegol not because of a fleet GPS tower, but because the Sith ritual requires it. During the duel, Rey refuses to strike him down in hatred. Kylo sees a vision of Han. He doesn't get forgiveness here. Han is just disappointed. Maybe we could also get Harrison Ford to look like he wants to be there, rather than look like he's being held by gunpoint. The man didn't even shave for it. He literally just turned up, put on the waistcoat, and then that just did the scene and went home. Like, come on. But from this confrontation with Han, Kylo realizes that he's been trying to become Vader. However, he learns that Vader's final act was in saving his son. So Kylo breaks the cycle. Not by being redeemed at the last second, but by rejecting the Sith ritual entirely. He helps Rey destroy the Sith presence altogether. They don't drain life force, they don't explode into lightning storms. What they do is they sever the Sith legacy from the Force itself. So this brings us to a question. Obviously in the main film, Ben Solo dies. So we're going to ask the question again. Does Ben die? Yes, he does. However, it's different to what we actually got. Ben is going to sacrifice himself to contain the Sith energy, in order to prevent it from spreading across the whole galaxy. It's not a kiss then death scene, it's atonement. He doesn't become a Skywalker, he becomes the man that Han and Leia had hoped for. Which brings us on to the ending. Rey doesn't bury the saber in the sand randomly. She builds her own saber, a double-bladed saber made from her staff, a yellow blade, the New Order. She doesn't call herself Skywalker. When she is asked what her name is, she just says Rey. Because this saga ends with the idea that legacy is earned, not inherited. I think this one works a lot better than what we actually got, because it keeps Kylo as the main villain. You've got no random Palpatine resurrections. Rey being a nobody keeps that theme intact and actually kind of makes that work a little bit. The Sith are defeated ideologically, not just physically. And the ending feels like a true conclusion to the end of this 40-year saga, this 9-year span of films. And yeah, I think it works better. But there you have it. There is my rewritten version of Rise of Skywalker, which I think is a lot cleaner and a lot better. But what do you think? Is this better? Let me know in the comment section down below. If you've enjoyed this video, then be sure to give it a thumbs up and click the subscribe button if you're new around here, and let me know of any other films you want me to try and rewrite. That's all for now, so I'd like to thank you for watching, and we'll see you later. Pop pop!